Hi, this is Yehuda, and welcome to the second episode of the Key Questions series. This episode is called Why Judaism? Basically to answer the question why I chose Judaism. Now, following on from the first episode of the Key Questions series, picking up from where I left off, I had started to renew my spiritual search after trouble with the law. I was always spiritually interested in the Torah, but back then I didn't call it that. I used to call it the Old Testament. I was really into it due to reggae music, as it mentioned quite a lot of the words and phrases from the Torah. In terms of the point I was at in my life, though, going back to that, I was at a transitional point in my life as I was growing up, and because of all the trouble that had happened before, I was also very vulnerable, as there were a lot of things in my life that didn't make sense. You know, why do bad things happen to good people, etc., etc. I just started college, and it was at that point that I was looking for answers, and I met someone who was involved in the evangelical movement. And from there, things started off fairly good, as I was getting a bunch of easy answers peddled to me. Hey, it was brilliant. Didn't have to think or anything, it was brilliant. Just got a bunch of easy answers peddled to me, and I didn't have to think them out. It was great. Except I started to realise the cons to that, and the negatives to that. And they were many. So regarding why I chose Judaism, there's three reasons. One, in the old belief system that I was a part of, everyone needed to be clones of us. Nobody could just be left be. Nobody could just say, you know what, I have my own way of looking at the world. You don't share my way of looking at the world. Okay, cool. In Judaism, we tend to do that. But the evangelical movement that I was a part of, nobody could be left be. Everybody had to be just like us. In fact, I remember speaking to the person that had introduced me to the evangelical movement, and I said, you know, what we're doing kind of sounds like brainwashing. To which she replied, well, aren't we supposed to be doing that? And I was just shocked, absolutely shocked, that somebody who was supposed to be a caring person, a loving person, a kind person, a decent person, was actually saying, yeah, it's okay to brainwash people. Yeah, it's okay to harangue people and not leave them be. And I just couldn't accept that. Then there's the second reason. And the second reason is this. I was searching for spirituality, which is a deep and meaningful spiritual experience. And instead what I got was spiritual quackery. The idea of faith as a cure-all. In fact, I had some people saying in the evangelical movement that they heard of people that claimed that they could go as far as curing cancer. I mean, how disgusting is that? Trying to make a quick buck off of somebody else's suffering. So instead of spirituality, what I was actually looking for, I got spiritual quackery. The third is that everyone was an enemy. Everybody who wasn't like us instantly was an enemy. If you were of a different belief system, you were an enemy. If you lived a particular lifestyle that our movement disapproved of, you were an enemy. And I just could not accept this. Particularly seeing how people were treated in Uganda once the evangelical movement took hold there. And I'm going to provide some links in the description box just to show the appalling way that LGBT people were treated in Uganda as soon as the evangelical movement took hold. And also the idea of faith as a cure-all. I mean, we've all seen the televangelists on TV channels saying, we can cure cancer, we can cure this, we can cure that. And at the end of the day, that's not spirituality. That's not deep and meaningful. That's just looking for a quick buck. And much in the same way that you get medical quacks trying to push any kind of potion and lotion, you get spiritual quackery, where they will try and push any half-baked idea as a cure-all. And faith isn't supposed to be a cure-all. Faith is supposed to help you in difficult times, but it's not supposed to cure them. The fourth reason is that Jewish and Christian theology doesn't match. I'm sorry to say that, but it doesn't. Okay? Christmas used to be a Roman feast called Saturnalia. And I'll put the spelling of the word across the screen just now. I'm not sure whether it's Saturnalia or Saturnalia. So perhaps somebody can help me with regards to how to pronounce it. There was also the fact that the Jewish Sabbath is traditionally on Saturdays, and that the Christian Sabbath is on a Sunday, and these two things didn't match. And then the idea of the Trinity and three gods in one, basically everything was crumbling down, because Judaism believed in one God, in one God, God alone, and the idea of three in one gods was a total opposite. The idea of the Trinity is a total opposite to Judaism regarding theology. So these two books, where one is claiming to follow on from the other, didn't match up, and that they didn't seem to be just completely seamless all the way through. And that's when I thought, maybe it's time to pursue Judaism. And from there I started looking at different communities, the different movements like Orthodox, Reconstructionist, Conservative Reform. And I was trying to look for the movement which really spoke to me in terms of matched my values and was my own personal way of expressing my Judaism, which I will cover in the later episode called Why Reform. I've been Yehuda, and this has been the second episode of the Key Questions series.